Hi Manish. So I understand you were at the MRSI event recently. Can you tell us more about it?
Sure, thanks Ram. So MRSI, first let me talk about the full form of MRSI. It's Market Research Society of India. And as the name suggests, it is about all the entire market research fraternity coming together at a platform and sharing what they have done the best over the last 1 year. And this was the 24th edition of MRSI this year.
So when you say it's a forum of research, it's both clients and service providers?
Absolutely. So that's the whole idea, that we get the clients also and the service providers both come together in a platform, share their experience, share what they think is new happening in the world of market research and analytics. I should use that term now because research is evolving in that particular direction. So the whole idea is to present best papers which agencies have, maybe the work agencies have done in last 1 year. Submit a lot of papers. There are a jury who select certain good sets of papers and they then come together and present at that particular forum. Clients also participate in that particular thing, and this is also about learning for others to know that what new things, what interesting, what innovative things are happening in the world of market research and analytics.
Fantastic. So what were some of the emerging themes and trends this year?
So I would say, as we are witnessing globally also, I think the one big piece which is being spoken a lot currently and maybe in last few years is the role of analytics, the role of maybe, if I may take it to a next level, which is the role of big data also becoming far more critical. So if you see historically, any decision making because of the lack of technology was all driven by primary understanding of the consumer or the customer, and there was no other source but to research among those sets of customers, go back, collect that information, and then maybe use any strategy building around that basis. With technology coming into the perspective, the data quantum kept increasing, and we didn't have to rely completely on reaching out to the consumer. Consumer themselves are giving us a lot of information, and hence we started using analytics as a nomenclature to kind of address that piece. Research world has also realized that the way they have been addressing clients' needs and the clients' concerns need to get evolved in terms of how we have been addressing that. So research is also adapting a lot of analytics piece, and I think that was one of the big things which was very prominent in this 24th MRSI this year.
Fantastic, fantastic. I understand Absolutdata has been present in this series of events for quite some time. Can you share some experiences from the past?
Oh yes, in fact Absolutdata has been pretty active in not only participating in MRSI, but participating in a lot of global such platforms. For example, SOMAR, which is the most prominent, which is the most respected platform from the world of research, we have been participating, and a lot of US based platforms, Casro, ARF, Sawtooth, we have been participating in winning there. MRSI, of course, I think we take a lot of interest in participating because we believe we do a lot of good work in the space of research and analytics, and we have been submitting papers, and we have been very fortunate that we have one of the best hit ratio in terms of conversion from submission to really qualifying. In fact, last year we won the best paper award in the category and overall best paper at the MRSI last year, which was the 22nd MRSI. And this year as well, we won the best paper award in the Brave New World category, which had 65 participants, and we won the best paper there. So I think, yeah, it's an interesting forum to showcase our capability, and also I think it's in a way an ego booster in terms of when we see that what we present is really appreciated out there. That means what we are doing is really cutting edge.
So Manish, you mentioned about a paper you presented and you won this time as well. I found the title very interesting. No Menu, the Chef's Special. Very, very, very intriguing. Please tell me more about it.
Great, yeah. So before I even get to that why this title and what is the body around this title, let me talk about what I just spoke to you a while back, which was about how the research world has to move in a particular direction, or maybe has to have getting to the paradigm shift kind of a thing, which is adding different kind of data layers to what we have been doing all this while. And I think research world is taking note of it. They are moving in that direction, but yeah, there's still some distance to cover. Whereas when I look at our own organization or my own organization, which is Absolutdata, I think we realized this much earlier. In fact, that's what our philosophy or the DNA talks about, that we have to resolve a business problem. That business problem may have a solution which is pure market research driven or a data analytics driven or big data or anything, but as long as it's a business problem which has a solution around data driven solution, then I have a solution around that. And that's what this world has to realize. And that was a thought when we were wanting to go ahead and pitch ourselves in this title called Brave New World, that what the world of market research has to take note of and where they need to move around with. And I think that's where we wanted to present this paper, and I think that was very well received, and the testimony of that is that it won the best paper award among the 65 papers which participated in this particular category. And as I said, that the whole evolution of writing of this paper was coming from our own DNA, which was to resolve a business problem which could have multiple different data layers to resolve that.
Fantastic, fantastic. So in your sense or in your analysis, what is happening between the digital agencies of the current versus the traditional research firms? Do you see a bit of a tension? Do you see a tug of war? Do you see things evolving?
More than the tug of war, I see that the digital world is taking a lot of business out of the research world. And I don't think they really intended to do that. It has just happened. So, though I belong to the research industry, but I don't feel ashamed to say that we have been behind in catching up with what is happening in the world of data-driven analytics out there or data-driven research out there. To take an example, if I talk about 20 years back or 30 years back, there was probably one or two platforms to reach my consumers, and research was well equipped to really understand that space and give a resolution to the client out there. Now with the dynamism of technology, the plethora of different ways to reach out, there are multiple ways. And when you talked about digital is becoming more and more prominent, the way we reach out to the consumer and where we get to know the consumer better. And digital world was far more ready and equipped to understand and address that space than the research world was there. Research world has to really catch up to make up for a lot of ground which they have already lost, to come up to the pace to what the digital world is doing right now. Take an example. Advertisers are advertising a lot on the social media platform. They're not only advertising, they don't only want to know that what has been the feedback or what has been the eyeballs which has been generated, but what the consumers are talking in that particular platform. It is a very big platform for them to know their consumer, to reach out to the consumer, to drive their positioning, to change the equity and do whatever they want to do around the brand. But research world is still not far more ready or still not that ready to give a resolution, give an answer to the advertiser or to the marketer that how they need to really target or how they need to handle the digital part of the world. Whereas the digital agencies are far more ahead in this space, and they're taking a lot of business out of the research world. And I think that's where the tug of war is really happening between the digital world as well as the research world.
So Manish, interesting thoughts so far. Do you want to maybe try and close the loop on the title, the menu and the chef? That's still on my mind.
Yeah, sure. So if you see that in a world which was non-technologically advanced, which is not too far behind, maybe just some 10-15 years back, there were very limited way I used to be able to reach out to the consumer, and hence probably a multiple solution to a one problem was well accepted in the world of marketeers, because one marketeer was happy with one kind of solution versus another marketer was happy with another kind of solution. With the plethora of ways I can reach out to the consumer, and with the speed at which the consumer needs and wants and the marketeer's way of reaching out to the consumer is changing and evolving, it's now the time where I need to have a very specific solution for a specific problem, because marketer just can't go wrong. And hence, I need to be specialist in what I'm offering, I need to be at the bullseye in what I'm offering, and hence the title which says no menu, the chef's special. I cannot have multiple things, I need to have a very specific solution. So in fact, you asked me about this question, digital versus traditional one, and I think that's the backdrop of this entire thing. I cannot keep going back and saying, in a traditional way you need to reach out to the consumer in X manner versus in a digital world you have to reach out in Y manner. No, if I'm asking you to give me a solution that tomorrow I have a plan to reach out in the digital world, tell me a solution and how should I be going about it. And I need to be very specific in my solution, and that's what I'm calling out as a specialist as against a generalist. And that's why the title called No Menu, the Chef's Special.
Interesting.